Hey guys, Lazy Dev here. Hope you're all been doing well. And I'm sure you can tell from the title of the video, yes, today we are in fact making a dumpster. Believe it or not, I have a vision for this dumpster. I am going to give it some functionality, a purpose in the game. And the thing that I'm working on next does actually directly involve the dumpster, which is why I wanted to make the model for it and then also kind of give myself like a break from all the debugging that we did last time. But yeah, so the thing that I'm working on right now is the sticking of the ingredients to each other. So if you don't really understand what I mean by that, what I mean is, like, if you imagine a bun and a patty, the sticking would be when you drop the patty onto the bun and then it sticks to the bun. So that's what I've been working on now. It hasn't been like super awful compared to other things that I've worked on, but it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been very smooth. For instance, you guys are going to see this in the next video. I'll have clips of it and everything, but you're going to see how in the beginning I've been doing these sticking objects and suddenly the objects just go like flying around. They start flying around as if they're real. And it's kind of crazy because watching it feels really bizarre because it looks like I don't even have to animate them at all. It looks like they're just AI moving on their own. But because of that, I'm actually keeping that in the back of my mind for when I make future games, and also even just for this game itself. Like, I genuinely think you guys don't be surprised if when the game comes out, or I get to creating the bathroom, that you guys see that if you drop a patty in a bun in the toilet, like, out comes some kind of patty toilet monster. I really think that sounds like something I would do. So yeah, that's been like one issue. And then another issue is that when you go to the level of working on the sticking of the objects, because the objects themselves are already built into the Havok physics engine. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the Havok physics engine, that's the engine that I'm using to handle all the physics simulations of my Babylon.js game. And the reason why I have to use Havok is because Babylon.js doesn't come with the built-in physics engine itself. Instead, it just comes in with like built-in support for Havok. I think it used to be something called like Ammo.js and another thing, but they've kind of moved away from just officially supporting them to just officially supporting Havok, so that's why I have to work with Havok. But in terms of sticking in Havok, I've actually had to mess around a little bit with disabling the physics bodies for the objects and then re-enabling them. And I think I dabbled in something. Oh, I also dabbled in giving the physics bodies constraints. So constraints in terms of the physics objects, that means like creating some kind of joint, like a hinge joint, like with the door, or a ball and socket joint, you know, if you think of your arm and how you move around in real life. So Babylon has all those different types of constraints built into it, and they happen just to be official supporting for the Havok's joints, and they're not one-to-one. I think there's one kind of joint that Havok actually doesn't support right now. But yeah, so I tried seeing if I could just connect the object with the joint, but that ended up not working, and it actually created really weird effects too. It kind of reminded me of this Roblox game that's out there right now. I forget what it's called, but it's kind of like Smash Bros 3D. And if you guys ever played that, there's like a plunger interaction there, and adding the constraints felt very, very similar to being bogged down by the toilet plunger in that game, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I had to mess around with that, take out the joint after I tried them out, and then ultimately I just decided I would come up with a system where each item gets a top and a bottom attribute, and then when an object collides with another object, it checks to see if the top is valid, if the bottom is valid. It checks the height of the object. And as I have it now, yeah, it was really weird because when you have a physics collision with the two objects, it's not like you're only having one collision. On the physics engine, I don't know if this is different for other engines, but at least in Havok, what ends up happening is two collisions get registered because it's one per each body. It's not just one collision happened overall. So that's why it took me a while to kind of get the thinking down of it, but yeah, I had to separate the two interactions into only checking for one specific aspect of it. So I won't go too much into details here, but I did decide that ultimately I would only be checking for when an object with a physics body collides with another object and its own height is higher than it. And then if it is higher and that object doesn't have a top item, then, and also if that object doesn't have a bottom, the one on top, if it doesn't have a bottom already, that's when they can snap and collide. And that's been working out pretty good. I have to do some more debugging for it because unfortunately I didn't realize it, but my lettuce actually has weird models. But I'll tell you guys more about that in the next video because we're coming up to an end here. And if you guys like what you saw, feel free to leave me a like, comment, subscribe. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!